everybody, this is Peter, talking to you today from El Tunco, just outside of La Libertad in El Salvador. Practices which always benefit you, either spiritually or otherwise. This is a question that was recently asked in a forum that I frequent on, so I thought I'd deliver a video message here and share my thoughts on the matter. I guess the two most common spiritual practices practiced in the world today would be prayer and meditation. In fact, the original poster said that they pray a lot because it helps them to kind of organize their thoughts and get their lives in order. And I completely agree. I used to do something similar where I would, I would sort of sit there and I described it as taking my brain for a run, where I would kind of just run through what was going on and just try to organize my thoughts that way. The second one is meditation. This one's practiced, obviously by much of the Eastern religions, the Buddhists, etc. This is one that I'm more into because, as the saying goes, praying is when you speak to God, and meditation is when you listen. I used to pray a lot. Growing up, I was raised in a Christian household, and prayer was sort of a very common practice. And I used to talk a lot, and and again, it was a good way for me to organize my thoughts. But as I got older and I started discovering new and different ways of thinking and seeing the world, I looked more into meditation. Now I tend to listen to a lot more than I talk, and I find that kind of helps too. It calms my mind, steadies myself out. All right. Some other common practices that you and I could be engaging in every day, which are always known to benefit us. I'll just go tell you a few of them. Reading, okay? If you're reading something, if you're trying to improve your mind, if you're learning about stuff that you enjoy, or maybe you're just, reading a fiction book. I tend to prefer nonfiction, just because I like to read to accumulate, and assimilate information. But it's every so often I'll pick up like a fiction book. It's a nice sort of break, just to kind of go through a story. It's always good too. Exercise, right? For me, I personally do yoga. Some of the other things I've done in the past include like martial arts. I've done like weightlifting. What else was I into? A few team sports like baseball. But yeah, I guess where I settle, where I am right now, it's a lot of yoga. I transitioned from weightlifting to body weight exercises, and I found that I got a lot better results doing that instead. If there's something like physical you like to do, right? Maybe dancing. I took break dancing for a while. I had a lot of fun doing that. Dancing's a great way if you like to get exercise in. Eating healthy, all right? You'll never regret eating healthy, okay? We tend to sort of look at the junk food and be like, hey, one time, what's it gonna kill? And then if you actually thought about how many times you actually said, just this once, I'm gonna eat the unhealthy food here, you'll notice that you're doing it probably several times each and every single day. But that's okay. I mean, I'm not a parent. I'm not going to tell you how to eat. I'm just saying that if you choose to eat healthy, every time you choose to eat healthy, you're doing yourself good. You'll never regret it. Your body will be happy that you did it. This is one of those practices that will always benefit you. Breathing, deep breathing exercises. Most of the time our breathing's on autopilot. We don't think about it too much. We breathe shallow from our chest when really we need to breathe deep into our guts. When you breathe in, you should feel your stomach rise, and as you exhale, it should come in a little bit. And it helps to just do conscious breathing regularly, usually daily for a few minutes. And there's of course there's variations on the breathing exercises you can do. Pranayama is what some people call it. So definitely you could be doing that. Music. All right, music is one of those things. It can You know, if you play an instrument, or if you like to sing, or even if you're just listening to something you enjoy, doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're enjoying it, as long as it makes you feel something inside. And getting yourself involved in music is one of those things that you could be regular practices that you could be doing daily that'll always tend to benefit you. Also, sex. Whether alone or with a partner, why not have some sex, right? Like, and this is I'll get into this point right here. This is one of those things where, like, it's a great servant but a terrible master. All right, I don't need to tell you about that. There's plenty of unhealthy sexual habits, that people have. But if it's a loving sexual act, and you're practicing it regularly by yourself or with a partner, it doesn't matter. It'll benefit you. All right. And again, I can't tell you what this is. It looks different for everybody. All right. Speaking of things that make wonderful servants but terrible masters, I'm going to bring up the subject of drug use. Well, drug use, right? I used to mention that I take my brain for a run. Okay. Normally, this would happen after smoking a little bit of marijuana. All right. Marijuana for me is definitely one of those things that was a great servant, but I eventually let it become the master, and it went bad for me. And I recently quit smoking it, and I've been relatively clean of it for the last couple months, and I feel pretty good about it. Other people, they choose, So there's that. And also, as sort of maybe not as a, definitely not as a daily habit, but maybe something less frequently, like a few times a year or whatever. Psychedelics, okay? This could be, for some people, definitely not everybody, this could be one of those practices that you engage in, whether it's mushrooms, DMT, LSD, something else, peyote, mescaline, ayahuasca. A lot of people see this as, a lot of people kind of practice these things at regular intervals, and they see it as a way of benefiting their lives. And again, it's going to be different for everybody. Might not be for you, but maybe it is. Okay? But again, remember, like I said, wonderful servant, terrible master. All right? Now, in terms of other practices that we could be engaged in, I'm just trying to think. What are some good practices? I mean, how about you? I mean, if you're watching this video, what regular practices do you engage in every day? Okay? I mean, the way I see it, you want to be able to stimulate yourself either physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. And I guess some of the less frequent practices, I've been talking about certain things that you do every day, but certain less frequent ones could include something like massage therapy, or maybe you talk to a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist or somebody that could be a really good way to keep yourself healthy mentally and physically. Acupuncture is another one. But for me personally, I tend to just keep it simple. I stick to yoga, meditation, reading are sort of the big ones. And yoga can easily be substituted out for any form of exercise. Walking, that's a good one. I like walking. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for now, I think. So yeah, if you have regular practices that you do either daily or, on less frequent intervals, go ahead, leave it in the comments, and let me know how you like to improve your life. Let me know what practices you do that that with regular use you tend to feel yourself getting better and better as you see improvements that tend to spill over from what you're doing into the rest of your life. Okay? Thanks again for listening to this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit like or subscribe. And I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Keep on being awesome. Peace.